I was 16. I was working at a McDonald's, and I would work every weekend and help open at 5 a.m. in the morning. I was on my way to work, and it was around 4:55. I remember that on my way to work, usually some of the stores would have their lights on by this time, but on this day, everything looked dark. I was on the road, and I remember thinking, there's no cars around, everything looks so dark. Which was strange, due to the point that our location was near a highway, and we would always have truckers or early birds come in for a morning breakfast. I got in, I clocked in, and it was just me, my manager, and the maintenance guy there. We were in charge of getting everything ready for the morning shift. I remember I was stocking up some things in the front, and I remember my manager saying, "Hey Carlos, I'll be right back, I'm going to the bathroom." I was like, "Sure, that's fine." Usually, when this happened, I was in charge of taking orders and giving them out, which wasn't much because usually we would have like one car every 5 minutes. So once I was done, I realized that my manager was still at the bathroom, obviously on her phone. So I walked out to the lobby to go see if we had any more cars left. So I turned around to see the opposite way, to look at the other side to see out of the parking lot, and there he was. It was a black humanoid that looked like a man. He was tall, about like 6 feet tall, and I remember trying to get a better look at it, so I got closer to the window, and I realized it was completely black, no form of light passing through it. I remember as I got closer, I started getting chills and almost like a hard pressure pain in my chest. As I got closer, I felt more pressure, and then I heard my manager coming out of the bathroom, and I looked back, and it was her. Then I turned back and he had disappeared. That really freaked me out. I had never experienced something like that before. I honestly don't know what it was, but I've been told it could be a shadow person. When I was younger, my sister and I would both see a shadow figure circling around the kitchen table. Our bedroom door growing up faced diagonal to the kitchen, and we could see the kitchen table. It was really strange. Looking back, we only started seeing this shadow the first couple of years after my dad passed away. I was 7 and she was 11. We saw this shadow for 3 years or so and then it stopped. When I was 19, I had 2 episodes of sleep paralysis. Around this age is when I started to develop general undiagnosed anxiety. This is also around the age my aunt had passed away, my mom's sister, who had no kids of her own and took care of my siblings and I a lot growing up. I got sleep paralysis a couple of times right after she died, and even my ex one time thought he saw a shadow figure in his closet when I was sleeping over. I woke up to him praying to God in Portuguese, and then I started freaking out because I've never heard him pray before. He said he was freaked out, but after that he never saw anything again. Last August my mom passed away, and around November or December is when I started seeing it out of the corner of my eye again. The last 2 months has been consistent, to the point of me being kind of afraid to be home alone without my boyfriend. Thankfully, we work the same schedules, so we are usually home together. I also have 3 dogs. 2 of 3 of them sometimes will stare at walls or just be randomly sitting in the middle of the kitchen in the middle of the night. And because of that, I started closing my bedroom door at night. I also started closing my closet doors. I have a mirror that faces my bed, kind of, and I heard that's like a gateway for spirits. There's also a hallway in my house that leads to a back door that we never use. One of my dogs sleeps down there, and I usually get weird vibes when I look down that hallway. I've never seen a full figure in front of my face. It's always been in my peripheral. It seems like every time someone close passed away, I get these waves of sensations. It makes me believe that my loved ones are visiting me, which is okay, but it still generally freaks me out. I want to sage my home, but I haven't had the time to do it. I've been asking my boyfriend to fall asleep after me, because if he falls asleep before me, my mind goes wild and I start seeing things also because I think about it. I've had countless paranormal sightings throughout me living in the house I am in now. I had once turned around and in front of me, right outside my window, on the deck, I had seen a figure that was about 7 foot tall, with no eyes, mouth, ears or nose, or any defining features outside of having burnt dry all over his body. And when I went to check outside, there was nothing there. This had been during the day. Also, I had came upstairs into my room one night, and my mirror had been flipped off the hinges of my dresser, almost like they were ripped out. and my mirror were positioned on the floor next to my bed, where you would have had to flip multiple times to get in that position. So it couldn't have just fell. And my parents had said that they didn't mess with it, and no one had been in the house other than me. I also had an experience where I would walk back and forth and my TV would flick on and off with static when no one was near the TV or touching the remote. I also had an experience one night when me and my friends were playing hide and seek. This had been around 6th grade, and I was seeking. I had been looking for them, and I was in the basement. So I went upstairs to the middle floor, and then up to the 2nd story, where there wasn't anyone. I had heard deep, heavy breathing in the room I was in. Not to mention, we had been playing in the dark. I ran into my kitchen on the middle floor, and from a dim light outside, I could see a shadow run across my wall. I freaked out and called off the game. My friends had not moved from the spots the whole time, and one guy reported to me seeing a shadow figure hiding behind this fake potted tree in the corner of the room in the basement. None of my friends had gone into the basement or the 2nd floor, and they were no way near my kitchen, where I had seen the shadows of people. Not to mention, my front door had been unlocked. When we checked to see if it was unlocked still, it wasn't. No one had touched it, and my parents had been home all day.